Wow, jeez.
I'm not sure why it's more expensive with Carnival. Maybe because there's kids everywhere and the parents want to get hammered.
Yeah.
And the drink maximum was 15 drinks per day. I was like, 15? Oh my God. I'd have to wake up really early in the morning to get that amount of drinks in.
Wow. I could see if you're literally sitting by the pool the entire day hammering drinks down, but you stand up, you're...
I mean, the next day is not going to go well after that kind of day.
Your money's worth the first day, and then the rest of it, you're down with the ship's doctor. Wow. That's probably...
What happened to her? Alcohol poisoning again.
Yeah.
You got the drink package. It's probably a staff sanity check too, because you just want to tell people, look, even if you're getting 15 drinks a day, you really shouldn't be. It's not a cost thing for us. It's a policing thing for us. Oh, wow.
I think the thing about the trip that has most in my mind about the ship was as we're on, it's the first day, and that first day was crazy rocking, right? I mean, everyone's up and down. But when we were walking or we're maneuvering our way to breakfast, and they didn't drain the pool, so
right, yeah, that was fun.
Water
it's like tidal waves.
Everyone's trying to avoid the water. It was that was funny.
It is, and then you'll see kids trying to get into it. Yeah. Yes. I was surprised that Tara was going to go back for another cruise too, because I was like, oh man, this might have cured everybody on the staff.
I don't know about Richie, but I know Erik, probably will never get on a cruise ship again. I loved it. I mean, the second day was rough. I mean, I for sure drank too much on the first day, but then also that the rough sea. So I wasn't sure if it was, a hangover or if it was seasickness or a combination of both. But that next morning was rough.
No,
I remember Ashley saw me in the breakfast or lunch line, and she's like, how is it going this morning? Because I said, I feeling a little ill, and she's like, yeah, Erik is not doing well.
And I immediately thought it was a hangover thing because we were drinking pretty good, and then poor guy. I saw him. I was like, yeah, no, you're in trouble.
No, we looked into a Disney cruise, and they were ridiculously high, and I'm like, I don't remember
like
this
double or triple.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't remember them being this high. And then I took a look into it for 5 years ago. They increased prices 50% from 5 years ago, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
They have the reputation, they can get it, but yeah, not from us mortals.
Nope.
Well, let's see here. We'll get into the questions. Justin says, if you have views in a database, would there be any reason to move those views to a different database?
Interesting, odd question.
More information.
Yeah.
I'm trying to come up with a reason why I would do it, and I can't think of a reason. Oh, okay, I got one. If you wanted to restore the database, I used to do this on a logship secondary, we would have complex views set up and then replace the database underneath from time to time because the views couldn't be in the original database. That's the only thing I got, though. I can't think of a reason why. Okay, all right, so I'm going to stretch. SQL Server 2016 has database level things like maxdop and parameter sniffing. So you could put views in different databases if you wanted people to have different maxdop settings and you didn't want to use.
Would that work though? I mean, because you're going to be referencing objects in the other database. I guess that would work.
Yeah, it's based off whatever database you're currently in. Justin follows up with, we have developers who have two databases. One has tables and the other has views pointing back to the tables. Okay, no credit there.
This reminds me of early days of Access where we had one database with the data, and then we would have another database with all of the screens and reports and all that stuff.
Oh God, thank God that's over. Justin says, we think it's a bad idea.
I don't know necessarily think it's not necessarily a bad idea, just it's odd. I wonder why he thinks he needs to do that.
Version control is going to be harder. Deployments are going to be harder. Yeah, it strikes us as a bad smell.
No, it's a bad idea.
I can't come up with a scenario where it's a good idea to do new development that way. Rob says, hi, we're about to build a 2-node always-on cluster with 4 named instances. I think, and you may want to follow this up, Rob, I'm not sure if you mean an always-on availability group or a failover clustered instance, failover cluster, your grandpa's cluster. As far as Quorum, will I need to specify a file share on some server when I install clustering for Quorum due to the even number of nodes?
Yes, you need a third guy for Quorum, and most people for availability groups are using a file share witness. On failover cluster instances, a lot of us used a Quorum disk, a SAN drive, a Q drive maybe.
Pablo says, hello folks, can you suggest the best way to check for corruption on replicas on a high transactional server with always on, I assume he means always on availability group since he means replicas? Best way to do CheckDB.
I like to offload that task. I mean, if your system's 24/7, which a lot of people's are, and you can't take the hit of CheckDB at any time of the day, then you offload that task to another server, backup restore, SAN snapshot, VM snapshot, something on another box. But you just have to keep in mind that you're supposed to also CheckDB your replicas, but that brings in licensing concerns because you're offloading production work to another server, and then also for that other server, for the backup restore.
And make sure you're doing it wherever you do backups. Like you want to be checking the one that you're doing backups on, or otherwise your backups may be garbage.
You could break up the task, so CheckDB is just a bunch of other check things, like check table, check alloc, it's a bunch of stuff. So I know when I worked for Qualcomm, we had our large systems where we couldn't offload the task to another server, maybe because they were too big, we didn't have enough SAN storage, I don't know. But we broke that up into multiple steps, and by the end of the week, all steps would have been performed. So a full CheckDB would be performed every week, but it'd be a daily task of small pieces.
I haven't used this myself, but I've heard Sean and Jen McCown. Well, there's heights hacked again. All right, well, so much for that. Again, part of me wants to recommend this, but their site's hacked again. So whenever their site gets unhacked, Minion CheckDB it has the ability. They have a set of open source scripts, or free, I'm not sure if they're free, open source, whatever, but a set of scripts where you can offload parts of CheckDB to different servers. You can have like this server check catalogs, this server check this file group. It looks really slick. I've never used it myself, but also when you click on it, you get a choose your price sweepstakes. So clearly something's wrong with their site at the moment. So we're going to just close that browser and go back. Oh, God.
Time to burn that VM to the ground.
Websites suck. Joyanne asks, is a Windows reboot or SQL Server restart recommended after applying cumulative updates? I just realized that the CU9 security update requires a Windows reboot before I can apply CU10.
I mean, it goes through the reboot restarts during the restarts, at least during the installation, the restarts of SQL Server as needed. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely reboot. Now, if it's my own desktop machine, I don't. I mean, if I can get away with not rebooting and it's not asking for a reboot, I do not. But in production, I'm in a maintenance window, I'll probably reboot it at the end, even if it doesn't ask.
Plus, you usually want to do Windows patching at the same time. If I got to restart SQL Server, I want to fix the Windows patches, which seem to come out more frequent than the SQL patches.
Yeah.
JH asks, when setting up a SQL Server 2016 always on within 2 VMs, is it theoretically okay to have one large C drive, like a terabyte, on each VM that holds everything? SQL Server install, all system databases, tempdb, user databases, log files, etc. Or should I separate them out onto smaller drives?
I don't ever put database files on the C drive. The C drive is the #1 place to run out of disk space because of Windows security updates. You could put a large drive there. Definitely the SQL installation and all the shared shared stuff. I mean shared files, not the shared system databases. I would not put your database files on the C drive. There's no reason to. I mean, it's so easy to create a drive.
Yeah, the filling up thing is the one thing that scares me. The other thing that scared me before is when you want to do VSS snapshots, it has to quiesce everything on that drive, so you may just want to snap databases and not the OS. And there was another one that hit me and I was, so if you ever have, for some reason, I've had situations where I needed to just get copies of the user databases and log files somewhere else, like I wanted to do an upgrade of a Windows or SQL Server and I wanted to go test it somewhere else. So much easier to take a snapshot of just where the data and log files live and present that over instead of having the whole C drive.
I would have a minimum of 3 drive letters for a VM, C drive, maybe a D drive for the user databases and some of the system databases, and then another drive for tempdb, putting tempdb on its own drive.
I'm with you. Because plus two, it's tuning. It's for the SAN admin, it's easier for them to tune for different access patterns. So like tempdb, I may want that on blazing insane fast storage if I have a tempdb problem. Otherwise, I might want it on garbage. I just might want it on junk data or junk storage if I don't care about it.
Richie just got a better offer, I think. See ya.
Right in the middle of the webcast. It's like, forget it. That, I think, might be the first time we've ever seen Richie disappear when it didn't involve a blue screen of death. Yeah. Because usually Richie just drops it when he has blue screens of death. Richie, your computer stayed on and you left. That might be a first.
Yeah, I had a delivery notification.
Ah.
Nice. Robert asks, is there any difference in decimal precision or scale between SQL Server 2016 and 2008? I'm getting a different value on the 2 servers, and they're both set to the same precision and scale settings. That's
interesting. I would imagine if the version number is the reason that people would have blogged about this or hit it.
Yep. It should be easy to do a repro query there, just like repro the exact same query on the 2 boxes and then post it to, say, dba.stackexchange.com. I'm trying
to declare a variable just in a Management Studio test, and you just set it to whatever data type and size it is, and see what you get on the 2 boxes. I just wonder, is it a query issue instead,
or data issue?
Or regional settings. I'm trying to think if there would be a way that regional settings would hose you, like if it's different currency formats, or I'm not sure what that would be. And then Joe asks, is there ever a good reason to nest a view?
I tell you, as a performance consultant, I cannot stand nested views. And I've had a client where I gave up after like 5 times. It's like, okay, now we got to open up this view. Now we've got to open up this view. It's like, I'm out. I mean, we have limited time on this call. There's just no way I'm going through this.
I mean, nested views make sense from a developer perspective, but when you take a look at performance-wise, it makes 0 sense. Right. I mean, it's like going back to the old days of object-oriented programming where we had this and it built on top of another one and built on top. And it makes a lot of sense to developers, but they don't never go into the under the hood and see the garbage that it's doing underneath. Just don't do it.
And it's one of those things where it works on my machine when it starts. You have really limited data sets. You're just getting started with the application. Nobody's using it. So it seems like everything's cool. And then just later, when you get to real world scale, performance goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yep.
It's one of those that I would kind of coach people towards, hey, if you have a choice, I wouldn't do it. I'd rather you do something else. All right, well, a short list of questions here today. Y'all didn't have any other questions, so we will bail out early and go start using our unlimited drink package. So we will see y'all next week at office hours. Adios, everybody.